Good day everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're setting up June's monthlies and the theme is a mix of a computer theme and Studio Ghibli. So I decided I wanted to do Ghibli for June, but I also have seen the computer theme going around on social media. Ivana Journals and a couple others have been doing it and I really liked it, so I wanted to kind of incorporate that and also a little bit of a Studio Ghibli vibe with it. So let's get started. This spread is actually inspired by Bujo Enthusiast on Instagram. I really like the way that they laid out their page, and I think the whole paint thing is a really cool idea, so I decided to put that in. And then I wanted to go with the scene with the spirits in the bathtub because I just thought it was funny, but I've also turned it into like a little business, like a little bathhouse business, which you can see a little bit later in the close-ups. Also, I got some new Tombow fine liners for Mother's Day, and I have really been enjoying them. My only complaint is that they don't dry super quick like the Sakura Microns. They do take a little bit longer to dry, and so sometimes I smudge them if I'm not careful. But other than that, they've been really good to use. Alright, I'm gonna let it roll and get done with the liner, and then I'll pop back in once we start coloring. Whoops, take it back. I'm gonna pop back in right here and apologize for my head again. Like the last time, guys, I know, I'm sorry. I have a hard time remembering that I'm recording when I'm drawing, and so my head gets in the way a lot. Please forgive me. So you can start to see the little shop take its form. I kind of wanted it to look just like a cute little bathhouse shop that you could go in and then the bathhouse is on top, which is just silly, but you know, it's fun, it's art. It can be silly if it wants to be. I'm gonna go ahead and apologize for all the cuts that you'll see because I had to film this over the course of a couple of days, and you know, things happen, life gets in the way, so there'll be times when the lighting's changed and different, and now you know why. Also, the pen I'm using right now, I got some new fine liners also for Mother's Day. They are called the Graduate Fine Liners from Lyra. They are really nice, and the lighter colors, even if you draw over a pencil, the pencil will erase from under them after you've drawn, which is really big for me. Alright, now we're getting into the color combos, and you can see that I did a little practice doodle in the back of my bujo to kind of figure out the colors that I wanted to do and how to layer them over top of one another so the water does look like it's over the specific color. This was a little tricky. I'm not very good with color theory and how to do that kind of thing, but well, I had some trial and errors and I did a test run, and you'll get to see that it turned out alright. I'm pretty happy with the results. I think my little bathhouse shop is pretty cute. I would go there. Alright, now moving on to the other side of the cover page with the little computer pop-ups and some folders. And of course I had to add a little rubbish bin and the little paper, which you'll see once we get into the close-ups. The paper has the same spirits that's in the bath, and the rubbish bin has the soot sprites as well as the folders. They kind of mimic each other. Alright, now that we're done with the cover page, it's time to move on to the calendar spread. This one's theme is going to be centered around Totoro, and the color scheme for it is going to be just a little bit different, but it's still going to keep the same neutrals and greens. Right now I'm working on a little Totoro sleeping inside a computer, which I just thought was a cute little idea. I've seen a lot of art recently where, you know, the computers have all different kinds of things in them. I don't know if anybody else has seen stuff like that. I love it and thought it would be fun to incorporate that since it is a computer theme but also a Ghibli theme. I'm using a reference artwork for the upper one that he's in the computer. Someone had drawn it where he's in like a TV, a little wooden TV, so I just changed it to where he's in a computer to kind of match the theme that I'm going for. And of course I had to incorporate the little March picture that's so iconic. I think it's just too cute to leave out, and plus it fills the space in the bottom really nice. Alright, again like earlier, I'm going to let the line art go and I will pop back in once we start coloring everything. The coloring I'm doing for the calendar is similar to the coloring that Bujo lady did for one of her spreads for January, and I really enjoyed the way it looked and thought it would go well with the computer theme but also the Ghibli theme. It also kind of reminds me of Blossom Bujo's calendar spreads, which I've been using in my previous spreads before. I wasn't sure at first what other color I was going to add, but I think the green looks really nice once I get the whole spread colored and done. I think it adds a little something to it. But see what I mean? I think the green ties in nicely with everything that has been drawn. Also, I decided to be brave and freehand my lettering for the weekdays, and I'm not too upset with it. I like it. There are some mistakes, like I start a little bit too far over and have to really squeeze it in to fit over top the block, and it's not centered everywhere, but I'm still pretty happy with it. Also, this will be the last month in this bujo, and because I'm so close to the back, I have to use an X-Acto knife if I go over where the pages meet, just to kind of help with the bending and closing of the book. But I'm excited to get my new bujo and start it for July. I'm actually going to go down to a traveler size notebook, which I'm pretty excited for. Mostly, I'm interested to see how my spreads will change with the limited amount of space. Now, if you watched my video from May, I pretty much copied the same format for my habit trackers and my mood trackers. I really enjoyed the graph-like structure and not having to draw too much, although I did put a couple little things on this page that you'll see, like in this little paint box will be Kiki in the field, and then down here in the corner will be kind of like a little bakery made out of her radio, which I thought was a fun idea. For a second, I couldn't remember how I colored the paint box. I had to flip back into the beginning and look and see what I did exactly. But now that we're getting into the coloring, I want to mention that I drew Kiki beforehand, and I did it on a separate piece of paper just because I wasn't sure if I was gonna like putting it there for this spread, but after sitting it in there and getting it colored, I think it looks really nice. I had to make sure that the colors that I wanted to use were actually going to be okay on the different paper. And I really should have used the lighter green when I was coloring in her dress, but I don't mind the darker green at all. It still looks nice. You get the idea. You know what scene it's from. I was also trying to give the clouds shadows, and I don't really like how this turned out, but it can't really go back. So I have to live with it, but I kind of learned a couple things while I was doing that. So I did do it on a couple of the other clouds, but I used a different color, and I think it looks better than it did for Kiki's picture. And we're working on the radio bakery now, which I think is just super cute. It's like a really, really tiny drawing, and once we get to do the close-ups, you'll see just how little everything is. But I don't know, I think it's fun. It's a cute little nod to her and the bakery. So the washi tapes that I keep showing, I actually got from a D-stash from Kia, and I asked for a lot of Ghibli stationery and washi tapes, and she did not disappoint. I'm so happy with everything that she picked, because I would never have gotten to get any of this otherwise. So I wanted to at least include a couple of them in this theme, because it is Ghibli. I hope you guys like it. I don't know, sometimes I feel like the washi tape doesn't really suit the spreads, but I'm pretty happy with these. Alright, now on to the first weekly. I included the first Saturday and Sunday in this weekly so I could have them all together and not have to worry about doing a small little 2-day weekly. And the weekly setup that I've got, I found on Pinterest, but I could not find anywhere who the original person was. So I'm sorry about that. I did change a couple things, of course, I put my Ghibli theme into it. So you'll see a little scene that I'm working on is the Markle scene where they're on the hill. And then on the other page is a art scene by, let me see, Chiumi on Instagram, and it's one of her artworks where Hal and Sophie are on a phone, and I really thought that was cute and thought it would really look fun with the computer theme. This one is one where you definitely need the close-ups to see because the drawings are so tiny. I had to use a size 1 micron, and whew, let me tell you, it was a little rough, but I really like how they turned out. Again, I'm going to go in with a couple pieces of washi tape. I thought the page looked a little bare around the edges, so I'm just going to add a couple pieces. And now that everything is done, it's time for the flip through. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you again for July in my new traveler's notebook.